Hello everyone, this is going to be a full day wear test with application and finally a review of the newest foundation from Revlon. This is called the Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation, and I'll go over all of the claims, the ingredients, you'll see how it applies in real time, and then I will do a full day's wear and give you my thoughts at the end of the video. Thank you so much for subscribing and also following over on Instagram. I will link in the upper right hand corner the latest video for you to go watch if you haven't already checked it out. Lately, anytime I try to film a video, it doesn't matter which day, it doesn't matter what time of the day, there are gardeners outside working. So I apologize if you can hear that in the background. I will do my best to get through this and hopefully it won't be too distracting. You can purchase this product, I would assume, at any of your local drugstores. It is new, so it may take a little while for you to see it widely available in physical stores. Online, you can currently purchase it at places like CVS or Amazon. I always, in the description box, link the product to where you can find it online to purchase it if you want to. And I always try to link the most affordable price that I can find. Now, usually drugstore items will vary just depending on where you purchase it. The price at Walmart will be different from the price at Target or CVS. The places online that I've found this so far, they all have it at $17.99, which for a drugstore foundation is pretty freaking expensive, I think. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, but that is the current price I see for this product. Now, it comes in a glass bottle with a pump dispenser, which is really nice and convenient. There are 28 shades in this range, so I feel like that's a decently large range. There's only one truly more deeper shade, I think, with the rest of the deep shades being more of a medium deep depth, if that makes sense. So I do wish that there were at least maybe two more truly deeper shades in the range. For the price, you get a total of a fluid ounce, which is pretty standard, or 30 milliliters. Let's go ahead and look at the claims about what this foundation will do. Now, the formula has 5% squalane and hyaluronic acid, so that's going to give you some skincare benefits and hopefully some plump looking finish to the skin. The formula is supposed to reduce appearance of fine lines and wrinkles over time. Won't be able to test that over time with you in this video, but we do know that squalane and hyaluronic acid do help the appearance of the skin, not only looking a little more even, but also hydrated. It's going to have a medium coverage and radiant finish. It's supposed to blur imperfections too. Here are the ingredients in the formula. You can see that squalane shows up as the fourth ingredient. You have some other, later on in the list, nice ingredients for the skin like Camellia sinensis leaf extract and the licorice root extract. And thankfully, I don't see any fragrance that's been added to the formula. All right, let's go ahead, go back in time, and I'll show you how this applies with a couple of different methods of application. I've applied my skincare and also my sunscreen. So I'm gonna take a flat kabuki style brush with synthetic bristles. And again, this is shade, see, 209 buff beige. I'm surprised. I don't know, we'll see. It looks a little light to me, but can never truly tell until you've applied it. And yes, the handle has come off on here, but I like having the handle close to the base of the brush, or being able to hold it close to the base. Okay, so this shade is maybe a touch too light, but I think it's gonna work perfectly fine. So this is more of a very light layer, and I'm just applying to this half so that you can see the difference if there is much of one. Let's go ahead and do another half pump. I feel like a full pump for the whole face might be plenty. Okay, you can probably see how this is a little lighter than my natural skin tone, or maybe it's just not yellow toned enough than my natural skin tone, but here's the applied half. and just bare skin with skincare on it. I will say that in application, a little bit of streakiness that I am kind of patting away to make sure it looks a little more smooth. Overall, I think it looks nice. I don't know if I have anything super fantastic to say, but on the other hand, nothing that I feel like is super negative. On this half, I'm gonna use my fingers just to see if there's any significant difference in the way it applies or the way it sits on the skin. So maybe it's partly the brush on this side, because I do feel like, especially in the forehead area where it was streaky with the brush, I don't see the same streakiness on this side where I'm using my fingers. Let me go ahead and add a little more product. Also with the fingers, I feel like you don't have to apply as much product because the product is not sinking into and getting lost in the bristles or soaked up in any brush bristles. And of course, if you use a sponge normally with your foundation, you can do it that way too. I only have 2 halves of my face, so I can only do so many application techniques. Yeah, I do like it applied with my fingers more than the brush side. I feel like the finish is very natural, like absolutely middle of the road. It's not adding shininess, but it's also not mattifying at all. It's just a completely naturally your skin the way it would be after skincare kind of finish. A relatively smooth finish. I would say this is more medium coverage, and I'm curious to see if the finish becomes more or stays radiant and luminous, since the name of the foundation is Illuminance. But I'm happy to see that they're not achieving this luminance with any sort of micro shimmer in there, because that I feel like is unflattering on most skin, unless you're a supermodel and in a photo shoot. Trying to make something luminous by putting in that really fine shimmer is usually not the way to go. Sorry for if you can hear the gardener person out in the neighborhood. I'm gonna go ahead and let's apply some translucent powder, and I'll show you what it looks like. So the translucent powder I have applied does not give any sort of long wear mattifying effect. It's literally just a translucent powder to set. So this is what the skin looks like. Obviously, inherently, it being a powder, even if it's not actively mattifying or long-term mattifying, it'll give a very temporary mattifying effect, but we'll see throughout the day how this transforms. And you may not be able to see it, it's a subtle difference on camera, but the side that I applied with the brush, overall the foundation plays well with the setting powder, but it's still just a little more uneven near the hairline on this side where I use the brush, and then it's smoother on this side with using the finger. So I would definitely in the future, when I'm applying this foundation, just apply it with my fingers, or you can try it with a beauty blender over a brush. If you apply with a brush, no one's gonna be able to tell. You'd have to get up really close to someone and look for any unevenness in order to tell that there's a little slight unevenness with the brush, but just to make things simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and see what it looks like. Of course, apply concealer also to these spots and under the eye. All right, here is the finished look. Kept the makeup pretty simple so that we can focus mostly on what the foundation looks like. Here you can see what the finish is up close. Yeah, I feel like it looks very smooth on the skin, has a fairly natural finish to it also, with, again, that more medium coverage. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like in natural light. Okay, it's pretty overcast today, but here's what the foundation looks like in more natural light. All right, I will check back in with you either later today if there's any significant changes, or at the end of the day to see how this has worn throughout a full day's wear. See you later. So, fun fact, the whole rest of this video before now that you've seen was filmed on one day, and I was doing a wear test. And by the end of the day, I was very excited to come back and tell you my thoughts because I was very impressed with how the foundation wore. Except that when I got home, I immediately applied my face cleanser all over my face before then realizing I have not checked in and given my review. So this is actually a 2-day full day wear test that I'm bringing you with my thoughts and review. This is my second time wearing the foundation, and now it's the end of the day. I am very impressed by how this foundation wears. And what I think is the most interesting part is that even though this is termed as Illuminance, where it suggests that it would be a more luminous foundation, both times I've worn this, by the end of the day, my face appears less shiny and oily than it does with other types of liquid foundation, even liquid foundations that I love that are not illuminating or don't market a more luminous finish. I typically don't buy foundations that market themselves as having a radiant or luminous finish because as someone who has combination to oily skin, I try to avoid that because I have my own natural luminance that comes through even when I don't want it to. So I don't need to have a foundation that gives me luminance because my oily skin already provides that for me. And I'm actually always trying to combat that. So I thought this was really interesting that compared to non-luminous foundations, by the end of the day, this looks less oily and shiny. And besides that, it's very smooth. It's very nice on the skin. It feels weightless. It doesn't feel heavy or greasy. I don't feel, there is some natural coming through of like my pores around this area. It pretty much happens with every foundation that I wear, that by the end of the day, with wear time, that becomes a little more prominent. But I don't feel like it's super emphasizing any sort of fine lines or getting patchy or anything like that. So I give this definitely an A rating for wear time, for how it looks on the skin. It's pleasant to wear, all those nice good things. And it does have sort of dimethicone type ingredients in here. So you're kind of getting a combination of that plump, hydrating, luminous look, but you're also getting that balanced with it's not looking shimmery or shiny. So overall, a fan. Definitely a fan of this formula. I don't smell any sort of scent to it. There's no fragrance added to it for those who are wondering about that too. So let me give you a look more close up in terms of the finish. So certainly, shinier, and my natural oils are coming through, but less so overall compared to other foundations. Let me know if you've tried this, your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next one.